Welcome to lesson 2. Money is energy. Now, for most of you, this is exactly what you came for. This is where we're diving in deep into the metaphysics. Lesson 1 covered emotion in regards to survival paradigms and how emotion is energy in motion, which super attaches to the negative thoughts that you're having around money, which perpetuates that cycle. You've seen the cycle. Let's get into lesson 2. Money is only energy. Now, let's really break this down. Let's decompose this so you understand and leave no questions asked. Money is simply a byproduct of value. Money is simply a byproduct of value. When one receives value, they exchange it with money. Value transactions are always reliant on emotion. Nearly always. Think about it. Every purchase or transaction is always rooted in emotion. You buy food. Why? Because you have a feeling of hunger. When you eat, how do you feel? You feel happy. You feel satisfied. Purchase of clothes. How do they make you feel? They make you feel like the coolest thing ever, right? They make you feel nice. They make you feel yourself. Purchase of cars. Why? You like this car. How does it make you feel? It makes you feel like the man. It gives you pride. Purchase of a home. How does it make you feel? It makes you feel secure. It makes you feel proud. Investments. How does that make you feel? Secure. It makes you feel intelligent. It's all based on emotion. There's not a single thing that is transacted in this world, purchased with money, that isn't based on emotion. You could literally break down every single thing to emotion. Everything. That's what we want. It's the emotion that we want. Right now, write down as many things as you can that you've purchased and actually do what I'm telling you to do. Write down as many things you've purchased, something from as simple as a McDonald's, something as simple as, a t-shirt from Zara or a certain thing, right? A jacket, some shoes, an investment you made, some cars, a cap. Write it all down and pinpoint what was the emotion I'm trying to feel here. Because when you do that, you're now seeing it for what it is. Because remember, emotion is energy, because emotion is energy in motion. It is energy, which is value, which we get as money. So if we break it down, go from the beginning, money is a byproduct of value. Value is rooted in energy. What kind of energy? Energy in motion. What is that? Emotion. Every transaction is rooted in emotion, and because that means money is energy. Now, unless you work at the Federal Reserve, you cannot make money. It must be earned. Oftentimes we say, I have to make money, I have to make money, I have to make money. And it's like, well, clearly you must not have an understanding on the Mandrake money mechanism and the Federal Reserves and how they print money out of air. But regardless, you don't work at the Bank of England, you don't work at the ECB, you don't work at the Federal Reserve, so you can't make money. It must be earned. And this is a paradigm shift. This is a reframing of what you become accustomed to think like. Because at that survival paradigm, part of what we're given is ego. We're given ego. We're given entitlement. I must make money. No, you must earn it. Money is not made, but it's earned through value. A cake is a multitude of ingredients mixed and then baked. Money is just like a cake. It is what one receives upon acquiring all the ingredients and putting them together correctly. Money is the end result, but it's a bunch of things that were mixed together that allows you to receive that. It is earned. Money is not made, it is earned. Shift that paradigm. Don't say I must make money, say I must earn money. Because when you say make, it's almost like, you have a printer in your bedroom and it's just that simple. No, you must earn it. You are also energy. Remember, money is energy, but so are you. Now, physically, you're made out of matter, flesh, bones, blood, etc. But that's not all you are. Before coming down onto the physical plane, you were in your spirit body and existed as an immortal being or spirit. Now, once again, I'm not crossing any religious boundaries, right? We all agree that we're supposedly all immortal beings. Our souls, we all derive from the creator, whether that creator is God, Allah, Yahweh, Jehovah, the source, the most high, Elohim, no matter what it is to you, right? that essence is within you, right? The essence of the creator is within you. The energy of the creator is within you, because we're energetic beings. We're constantly vibrating, and quantum physicists have already showed this with microscopes. If you take a microscope and you zoom in on something that seems fixated, like a table or a bottle that's not moving, if you really get in there, it's vibrating. It's constantly vibrating. Even the Hermetics, this is the universal law of vibration. Nothing rests, everything vibrates. We're vibrating at a subatomic level, and we're interconnected by those vibrations. We share frequencies, because a multitude of vibrations is a frequency. That dictates our thoughts and our feelings. So you are literally a being imbued with energy. This is why you can be sat in a room and somebody walks in, or you can be at a party. I'll give you an example. You're at a party and everything's good, and some dodgy people walk in, some weird people walk in, right? Some people that set you off kind of walk in, and before they've even said anything to you, you feel their energy. You feel their electromagnetic field interacting with yours. You quite literally feel it. And there's so many examples of these where, something happens to a mother's child and the mother gets a strange feeling, and then only to find out something happened to her child. We get this all the time. You are literally an energetic being, and it's important you understand that you are an energetic being before a physical being. Remember, the world has got you playing the game backwards. You're first energy, then physical. They've made you think you're physical, and they're not even telling you that you're energy. You are energy, and because you're energy, this means that any form of energy, you can tap into it. And that's all money is. Money is an energy, and so are you, which means you can tap into that energy. Money is spiritual. Now, I deem spiritual or spirituality as an act of integration with God, the God force, the universal flow, Allah, Yahweh, Jehovah, the infinite intelligence, the Most High, the Creator, whatever you want to call it. And I like that definition. That's from Stuart Wilde. He defines it as seeking to integrate or be one with it, become one with it. This is what Jesus spoke about. He said, I and my Father are one. But then further in John, he also said, but my Father is greater than I. It's this understanding that we are one with the Creator. There's 3 levels of existence. There's animal, machine, and spiritual. The reason why I say money is spiritual is because animals, the level of consciousness that an animal has is solely dependent around survival, eating, and sex. That's literally it. Animals are in flight or fight, eating or sex. Nothing more, nothing less. When animals die, right, when their loved ones die, they don't do anything except just leave them out there to die. They just die. That's it. They're just down the top of the surface. But what do humans do? We make it spiritual by doing what? We ritualize it. We say, oh, let's bury them under the ground. Let's not leave them out there for everyone to see. Oh, let's cremate them, right? We're going above that animal level of consciousness. And even looking at survival, that's a word that we spoke about in lesson 1, which is where you are right now. And when you're surviving, you're operating out of your basal ganglia. Your basal ganglia is the reptilian side of your brain, which is the most primitive part of your brain that I can guarantee you've never been taught about. That brain is literally revolving around flight or flight. Now, the next level of consciousness is machines, such as factory machinery or limited robotic thinking. That's it. You can only think about so many things. You only have so many answers. There's only so many computations that your mind can make, and it's all limited to a certain paradigm. That's literally it. Then we have spiritual. Spiritual is the level of consciousness that goes beyond animal and machinery, and it taps into the God force, extracting creativity. We have art, we have religion, we have music. These are all spiritual things because they've transcended both the machine level and the animalistic level. Sex is something that's also spiritual, even though sometimes people have sex like animals, right? Just in that frame of thinking of, oh, I gotta get off. But sometimes we can spiritualize the act and see it as a union of people coming together. That's why people get soul ties. Now, because money is generated from thought forms, and thought forms are ideas, which is energy, right? Which all energy is part of the God force. Money is literally tapping into the creation of the God force. Think about it. Any spiritual figure that you can think of. Let's take Jesus again, for example. And I say that because I'm more accustomed to the Bible. Jesus, for example, he wasn't the richest person ever, But what did he have? He had the energy level of abundance. Wherever he went, he was taken care of. Why? Because he was stepping with the idea or the consciousness or the understanding that he is one with the Creator. And as a result, he was tapping into a particular idea, which is a particular form of energy. And that energy is part of the God force. Money is spiritual. Now, I shall see you in lesson number 3 as we cover the false beliefs that you might have in regards to money.